We're backstage at the Walker Arts Center with Mimi Johnson, who is the founder and director, and as she said earlier, shop clerk for Lovely Records. You call it what now? Lovely Music?
Lovely Records.
Lovely Records, yeah.
It has another name which isn't important particularly.
Okay. Gets confusing. You've done 11 records in the first 2 years of your existence. You've now issued a new and very exciting set of 7-inch records, 33 RPM records, and there are 6 of them, I guess.
It's a box, very cutely titled Lovely Little Records. It's a box set of 6 7-inch 33 RPMs. I think there's about 15 minutes of music average per record, so in your box you've got, an hour and a half of music.
Gee, that's nice.
Yeah, and it represents 6 composers, all who happen to come from the Bay Area. That isn't why we chose those 6. It just happened that way.
Who's on this particular set of 6 records?
Well, the famous Blue Jean Tyranny. This will be his 3rd release on Lovely Music. The equally famous composers Maggie Payne, Frankie Mann, John Bischoff, Paul DeMarinis, and Philharmonic.
I wonder if, Mimi, you could tell us a bit about Lovely Music. What do you do with that company? Where do you get the funding to put out the records of music which you probably know won't sell 10,000 copies a year? So.
Well, they're not going to sell 10,000 copies a year, but they will, I am absolutely persuaded, sell 10,000 copies in 10 years. And that's what we're all banking on. The company is, it's a regular profit-making corporation, but the composers are actually investing each in their own records, which doesn't mean, of course, that it's a willy-nilly collection of composers. There's a sense to it, and clearly my personal taste and friendships are involved with this. The only way that it would be possible for Lovely Music to issue this many records in 3 years is because they're helping to fund their own discs. Not totally in all cases, but it's sort of a balance of how much money they've got and how much money I or the company have to have.
So it's sort of a co-op then?
It is, and it's a real collaborative project. It's a cooperative.
What's the benefit of a composer putting out a record with you as opposed to, let's say, on his own label?
Well, I'd be the first one to encourage anyone who wants to put out his or her own record. It's an easy process. I know exactly what it costs. Anybody can do it. And New Music Distribution Service is the distribution in New York that is really specifically set up to service these composer recordings. My feeling, however, is that a composer is better off with a little distance between himself and the public, and that's what the Lovely Music label is providing. This isn't to say that someone else couldn't do another one very similar to exactly what I'm doing. I would advise a group of composers who wish to put out their own records to join together under a common name, and in this way I think it attracts more attention. It becomes a real label, you know.
What's the response been so far now? Are you selling the records all over the United States?
Yes, I have four distributors in the States that are doing quite well. Rick Ballard in the Bay Area, Rick Ballard Imports, and I've been very happy working with Rick. New Music Distribution Service in New York, Rounder Records in Boston, and a smaller distribution in Chicago called Kinara. Rounder is a relatively recent relationship, and it's working very well. I'm very happy. We also have small distributions in Europe, well, since about a year now. There's a company in Italy and a company in France. And I'm told by New Music Distribution Service and Rick that they occasionally get orders from Japan.
Where a lot of people buy records, apparently.
Apparently so. I think Japan is the largest record market in the world, practically.